What is up, shambling strangers?
Shambling.
It just popped in my head.
Okay.
Welcome to the Strange... I totally blanked what I was going to say for a second. Welcome to the Strange Sessions. As always, I am one of your co-hosts, co-pilot, if you will, for this podcast. With me is my side girl, Krista.
I just had this vision of both of us just flying this plane right into the ground together.
Oh, it is going straight down. I'm here with my side girl, Krista.
Your girl Friday.
Actually, you're my side girl on the side sessions. You're my strange girl on the strange
there we
sessions.
go. Yes. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. I'm here with my strange girl, Krista.
So
my voice is still a little off. I can just tell when I talk that this COVID stuff sucks. I have this weird congestion, this coughing that is keeping me up at night, and I've been told this could last for months, and it's already driving me insane.
Mm-hmm.
So
what sucks is that nothing helps.
No, nothing helps. I took cough syrups, the one that numbs my brain. No, didn't numb it. So
brain fully unnumbed.
Brain fully going. So I sound lousy and I sound like I have a super bad cold, and I kind of do, but it's not a cold. It's just my COVID hangover.
At least I don't have to yell at you to cover your mouth every time you cough.
Yeah,
now. You're not contagious.
I'm not contagious, but
hey, quick reminder: if you're just tuning in for the first time, or if you're an old-timey listener, that's not what I was trying to say.
Old-timey listener.
A long-time listener, you know that you can pause your app right now, pause the episode, look at the show notes, check the timestamp for when the actual topic starts. If you don't want to listen to us talk about stuff like COVID, Kurt's particular case of COVID, the weather. New strangers, do a taste test, etc. You can just skip right over it.
Yeah, our old-timey listeners makes it sound like we were back on AM radio right on after Fibber McGee and Molly or something like that.
I feel like our early episodes were the equivalent of like AM radio.
Yeah, because I've never gone back and listened to our old episodes.
They're not as bad as you think they're going to be.
Speaking of which, our old episodes.
Yeah. By the way, I finally got them all posted. So if you're not on social media and you've been wanting to go back to listen to season 1 and most of season 2, I finally have everything posted on the Podbean website. It's in your apps now. So
and then Andrew messaged me that one morning that all of a sudden half of our stuff disappeared or whatever.
You know what? And the funny thing is, I was thinking through that there's a setting on Podbean with how many episodes you want to show in your feed, and I had deleted it thinking, oh, the default would just be no limit. Well, it's not. The default must be 20. So that's what happened. I wonder if there was a setting on our old website like that. That there was
I never thought of that.
Yeah, but I've never been able to
Should we just move everything
it.
back to the old website?
Good Lord, no. No, I'm loving Podbean. I mean...
Yeah, I love our stats.
I love the stats.
Yeah.
I love the customer service. When I can't figure something out, which is often, I email someone and I get the answer within a day and it's fixed.
Our stats are amazing. It breaks it down by state. It sends us video of you guys watching our podcast that you don't even know about, so that's nice.
Yeah, we know where you're listening from.
Yes,
Actually, we do know where you're listening from.
Yeah, we do.
State-wise and country-wise, which is mind-blowing to see where in the world we have been listened to at least once, and that is crazy. I think that we probably have a bigger listenership than we ever realized because of these stats.
Which kind of freaks us out a little bit.
It's a little scary.
But
just the number of downloads that we've had since we've uploaded is
speaking of listeners,
terrifying.
I want to give some shout outs to our newest strangers.
Yes.
And those are, since the last episode, Lorraine Vonick, Becca Poog. I think it's P-U-G-H. Would that be Pug or Poog? I think Poog.
I don't know.
Katie Wiedemeyer, W-E-D. It's all girls. Huh. Okay. Katie.
Women. I guess they could be girls.
I'm used to girls because of school.
Yeah, I suppose.
Katie Wedmeyer, Felina Wolfsong, and Sarah V. Morgan.
Felina Wolfsong.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, she sounds like somebody I would play in a Final Fantasy game. So thank you so much, guys, for joining.
Yes, thank you. Welcome.
Sometimes we wonder why you guys do, but we're glad you do.
Mm-hmm.
And they always write cool stuff on our... Oh, and that one that...
Yes, that just came into my mind.
The one that somebody said they
learned about us from the Maura Murray podcast?
From Tim and Lance on the Missing Maura Murray podcast, because I doubt they referenced our episode.
Yeah, I feel like that we misunderstood that.
Yeah.
I'd love to know like where she actually heard about us.
They probably had like a whole episode of theirs ripping on our episode.
our
Maura Murray burrito. Our steak burrito / Maura Murray episode.
Oh gosh.
Yep. Do we have any other housekeeping? I feel like we do, but I can't think of what it is.
Oh, this is like us every week. No, I can't think of anything either. I'm just really jazzed that I got the whole podcast migrated.
I am too.
Weighing on me for a really long time.
So hopefully that's it for the podcast shenanigans now for a little while.
I hope so.
Waiting for my Dayquil to kick in, so I'm not quite so stuffed.
I'm glad you didn't take NyQuil. That'd be a fun episode.
I told you that guy did it at work that one time when I worked at the factory in Two Rivers.
Took NyQuil
because I was walking with the receptionist. Her and I were walking through the offices together. We walked past one of the offices and we saw the older gentleman in there tipping up and drinking right out of a bottle of NyQuil.
Like doing shots.
And we stopped and we're like, you realize that's NyQuil? And he stops and he goes, no, I brought Dayquil. And he looks at it and he's like, oh, somebody might have to give me a ride home. But yeah, he was drinking it right out of the bottle. And it's like, dang.
He's hardcore.
That's how my week at work was. I was tempted to drink some NyQuil out of the bottle there.
Oh, man. Yeah, you were telling me stuff
Yeah, it was a rough
before the
week.
show
It was
that
a
you
rough
wouldn't
week.
want to talk about on the show. But
I love those darn kids.
yeah.
No, the good ones keep me coming there. And they know who they are because I constantly hug them and tell them I adore them.
You may be the only person in their life doing that, so that's amazing.
I know. And yeah, what really got to me last year was, I think you and I might have even talked about this in the other episode about how the last day of school, so many kids were sad. Because then they had to be home and they're not going to see their friends. And it's like, God, I remember
they might not get a full meal when
no,
they're home,
they might not get a full meal. They
so
might not
sad.
have, I'm not saying that I'm great, but somebody that at least
cares about
them and jokes around with them and asks how they're doing. And yeah, that was just kind of, I don't know. That made me a little sad, but it makes me appreciate what I do.
Yeah.
So what else do we got? I feel like there were like three things that we were going to... Oh, at the end of this episode... Scared
me a little.
Sorry. At the end of this episode, we are going to reveal, for those that aren't on the Strangers or whatever, the solution for my armchair treasure hunt.
Oh, yeah.
Which was solved, and we'll give the winner a shout-out. We got his signed show notes right here, signed by myself, Krista, and Corey. And
Exciting.
He's the only person to have signed show notes from Corey, too.
Ooh.
Because
have we sent
Dash's daughter. Remember, Dash's daughter won.
Anna Banana
Won that one. So she got our show notes, but this is the only one that has Corey's signature on it. So
don't auction it off on eBay.
No, this will be going for like $50,000 on eBay, probably.
Sure.
So
50,000 pennies?
50,000 pennies on eBay. So we'll send him and a gift card from Amazon.
Okay.
But I don't have a lot of money, so it probably won't be much.
You could take it out of the Strange Sessions PayPal, you know.
We could.
We do have some money in there. Thanks to our coffee supporters.
Yes, thanks to our coffee supporters. I hope they liked our Togo episode where I got super teary and Krista actually had to finish reading for me because I was all teared up.
It got good feedback, so.
It's talking about a dog getting put to sleep, and especially an amazing dog like that, and a dog like that didn't get the recognition that he deserved.
Right. Until now,
which he's gotten.
We're part
recently.
of giving him the recognition.
But I love that dog. I'm not going to cry during today's. Today's is something totally different.
Okay.
What else?
Should we open this package?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me grab the ceremonial dagger.
That is, I believe that was supposed to just be a Christmas gift, but you and I have had this before, and this is one of those things that I said I did not like until I tried the ones he sent us.
Oh. Okay. It's not ringing a bell. Like what? I'm trying to guess. Oh, jeez. This is Brian Young?
Yes.
Is it the chocolate covered?
The chocolate, the sponge candy.
I love those. Those to me are like Christmas. So that would make sense. Sorry if nobody can hear me. I'm trying to open this thing without stabbing myself. Ooh. I don't know if this is like... No, it's just like an order slip.
That is fancy dancy.
Okay. It's the spongecandy.com. Buffalo, New York.
I do want to get to Buffalo someday.
It would be cool.
Unlike Brian, I'm not a super huge fan of buffalo wings.
Oh, no. I'm not a wings person in general.
I like boneless wings. I won't eat regular wings.
Too much work?
No, I don't like I don't like chicken on the bone.
Oh. Sure.
There's something about it that's weird to me. I like pork chops on the bone. I like stuff like boneless pork chops.
So, anyone
the idea of eating something with a bone in it weirds me out.
But the bone is what provides so much flavor. Like if you're into cooking at all, you know that cooking something with the bone in it is where all the flavor comes from.
Yeah, but that's creepy.
Yum. Yum. Let me take a picture of
this.
This
looks amazing.
I know.
I think our other one is going to be good too.
Hope
Despite the name that is somewhat disconcerting.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that something has had a disconcerting name but was absolutely delicious. All right, I'm going to take 2. Oh.
Oh.
I'm so excited. Look how cute they are.
You ready?
Wow.
Oh, she's taking a picture.
Jeez. I'm so Wisconsin. Wow. Jeez.
Wow.
Jeez.
Jeez Louise. Oh. Oh.
Good gosh, jeez.
Oh. Okay.
Oh. Okay. Let's do this.
Oh my God. That chocolate.
The texture of the sponge is so perfect.
The texture of the chocolate is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Brian,
a lot of times with this candy, the sponge is too hard.
Yeah.
And you have to,
Buffalo
like, really
knows how to do
hack at
sponge
it.
candy.
Yeah, they do.
Buffalo, #1 sponge candy maker.
I should take a picture of that. I take terrible pictures. I apologize if like all of the pictures on our Instagram are blurry. Like this one. Not too bad, I guess.
And you ready for our second one?
Oh,
Oh.
since we've tasted this one before, let's turn the camera on for the second one.
I don't even know. But the second one, do you want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Our
We'll be right
coffee
back.
supporters are paying for this.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Does it look like it's recording?
Nothing is blinking.
Okay.
It's
Now
blinking.
it's recording. Wow.
I think we got it going.
I guess. Okay, let me pour this real quick. So this is the tea. This is the Bigfoot tea.
Looks like a very dark urine sample.
I'll not get it all over. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay.
This is mine.
Yep. Oh, dripping all over the place. Just dripped it all over my thing. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Let's try the tea. Let's try the tea. Here, let's do a cheers.
Cheers.
Give it a shot.
Ooh, that's very mellow.
It's very mild, which I like tea that's mild.
It's good. Is this the one that's spruce?
Let me look. It's really good.
I get a little hint of eating trees.
Let's see. I'm not going to be able to read this. You're supposed to steep it 9 minutes. Wow, we definitely did that. I can't read that. I'm old and I don't have my...
Smoked spruce black tea.
Oh, wow. Have you been eating trees that you were able to identify the
No,
spruce
but
flavor?
no, I couldn't. I just knew it tasted like tree. I
Okay.
couldn't tell what
It's delicious.
what is a tree
Species?
species. I was going to say brand.
What brand of tree
What brand
is
of tree
this?
is this?
Should we try this on camera
Yeah,
again?
yeah.
Even though everybody's already heard us
Yep,
try
right.
it. Oh,
What I love about it is the way that when you bite into it, the chocolate breaks off of it.
and goes into the sleeve of your sweater.
Oh my God, that's so good.
That's for later. Did it really go in there? This is why we're videotaping this.
Don't know if you listeners heard it, but Chris and I came to the conclusion that people just send us money because they pity us. It's just pity
We're
PayPal.
so terrible at this.
Oh, that chocolate is amazing.
Although I'm kind of glad that we did forget to record the first one because we got to eat more chocolate.
I am too. And I like this tea.
It's
I-
delicious.
When I first saw spruce, I was like, eh. Because anything like flavored like that makes me think of gin, and I cannot stand
really?
gin because gin is like sucking on pine needles.
Interesting.
Look at us all eating fancy chocolates
I
and
know.
drinking fancy tea,
Sipping tea.
living a high life.
This is always the
I know.
opposite of what I think
I
it's
know.
going to be. There we go.
It's just weird. And you're ready for our
Living
next
our
one?
best lives. Yes.
This
Bring it
sounds... I'm not even going to say what this sounds like. This is from listener Jennifer. We still had this. It is...
My favorite stuff in the whole wide world. Oh, Beaver Nuggets. We've had this very one before.
Have we had beaver nuggets?
Yes, we have. I remember it being called Beaver Nuggets. Oh, I love this stuff so much. This is addicting. I'm going to hold it up to the camera. So
Do you want to do another one that's in here then?
No.
If we've already tried that?
Oh, you mean in addition to this?
Well, we've already tried that, so let's skip that one. If we've already tried it on here,
But I want to eat some.
all right, eat some. And then we'll do one more because I'm super curious about these.
Okay.
And Jennifer, I think these have been down here for a while, so thank you so much, Jennifer, for sending us
sorry.
these.
We have some jam that's been down here since definitely last year. It's sitting there. Beaver Nuggets.
You love like caramel puffed corn.
I do. It looks like shrimp.
It does
It
look
looks like
shrimp.
popcorn shrimp.
I love popcorn shrimp. Oop.
It's funny. This looks so far away, but when you look at it, Kurt just went to hold one up for the camera and just dropped it on the floor. Good thing I just vacuumed. Okay, ready?
So good.
Yeah, definitely. They're just so crunchy and caramely. Okay, I'm good.
Okay, one more taste test. You ready? Oh no.
I know I did that before. It'll be fine. Ooh, ranch and saltines.
Ranch and saltines. It looks like just regular. Oh, it's the same mascot.
The same mascot. Or whatever.
It's the same beaver.
You think it's a mascot?
I love
Like
beavers.
there's a dude that runs around in this outfit.
I would totally be
Ranch and saltines.
I would totally be the Bucky's beaver guy on the side of the road waving to
Bucky's
people.
Beaver guy. I always feel bad for those people.
I know, but
Because those people hate their jobs, I feel.
but you could probably go to your job drunk.
I suppose. You don't have to do hair and makeup. Nobody can see you. Okay, I'm just going to grab.
I'm intrigued by these because ranch with me is really hit or miss because I'm not a big ranch fan.
Oh, I love ranch.
But I love Cool Ranch Doritos.
Oh, it smells very ranchy. Hold on, let me get a picture. Is that a word? Ranchy?
They are heavily seasoned.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Ooh.
Wow.
Wow, that is
They're really strong.
that
Okay,
is
ready?
pungent.
Let's do this.
Oh.
They're not that overpowering, though. This is
They're
delicious.
really good. Those would be like amazing in chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, they would.
Oh my god. Yeah, that is. Oh, chocolates. Well,
It's like we've never done this before.
chocolates. 10
A
out-
12?
Oh, I spit crutch saltine on myself. Okay. Chocolate. 10 out of 10.
12.
12 out of 10. 10 out of 12. 12 out of 10.
Wow. Tea.
Tea. 10 out of 10.
I'm giving that a 10, too, because it's really
I do
good.
for spruce
Loose
tea.
tea is always better than, like, baked dry tea, too. I mean, it's
Yeah,
still
I would
dry.
drink this every day. It's
It's
delicious.
And these are definitely a 10.
Those are a 10, and the Beaver Nuggets are a 10.
I would even crush this up and, like, coat chicken in it and bake
You would
it.
crush those up and snort them. Oh, I bet you that would be like good on pork chops or chicken. These are really good.
They are good. Delicious.
You guys can keep these because I feel like you're going to use these in something like
Sure.
a recipe where I won't. I'll
Yeah.
just sit on my couch.
Or Jim will just eat the whole box.
I'll just lay on my couch with this on my chest and eat the whole thing.
With Narnie looking
With
at
Narnia
you like,
looking
where's
at me."
mine? I like ranch. Meow, meow. Yeah,
Yep.
delicious.
Really good. Thank you guys so much for the taste test stuff. Oh my god.
Yeah, really
I
good.
love those.
Yeah, they're good. They kind of remind me of chicken and a biscuit. Do you remember those?
Chicken and a biscuit I still get all the time. They are my favorite cracker.
You can only eat so many, though. They're
Yeah,
like
a box,
really
the
strong.
whole box. I constantly
Just a box.
I constantly eat the whole box in one sitting.
I don't think I've had one since I was like a teenager.
Oh my
but-
god, you can still get them. They taste exactly the same.
sure.
Chicken and biscuits are amazing.
Okay, thank you. Bye, coffee supporters. And we're back. I would like to give a shout out to my husband, Jim, because he ran a heat vent. Whatever, there's probably a technical name for this, and he would know that. From the other side of the basement to this side, blowing warm air in here, and it is toasty in here for the
Yeah,
first
it's
time
actually warm in
ever.
here because Chris is usually wrapped up in a blanket, a Snuggie.
I usually am chilled to the bone by the
She
time
is.
we're done, and I am really comfortable
Yeah,
right
she
now.
is constantly cold when we're down here.
So he did that immediately after the last
He is
episode.
a good man.
He is.
Shout out to Jim.
Lucked out with that one.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Now what?
What time we got? What time we got?
28 minutes.
Oh,
But
boy.
That's with,
Yeah.
That's with lots of pauses.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, jump into the main. So
The
this
much
episode,
awaited, much
this
hyped-
episode, I feel like is kind of,
You say that every week.
yeah. But the thing is, like, we don't have a lot for this first part. We have voicemails.
Yep.
We have 3 letters, but that's really it.
That's okay.
And the second part isn't very long, but it's a mini mystery that I've been sitting on for like a year. And finally, I'm like, nope, let's just do this episode, get this one done with. But it's a fascinating mini mystery.
Well, I'm excited.
And Krista doesn't even know what that is.
No.
Because I haven't told her.
He usually tells me, but he's keeping me in the dark.
No, I just totally never thought to tell you until I realized this is right before we started recording that I never told you what it was.
That's cool. I like being surprised along with everyone else.
Yeah, you do. I don't even know why I said that so weird.
Dirty.
I know. That wasn't even meant to be. But, so, our first story... Oh, why did my voice just do that weird thing?
Our first story.
Just went through puberty.
I'm legitimately, like, really warm. I'm sure the tea has something to do with it, but wow.
It wasn't ayahuasca.
No.
Our first story, we talked about, what was it, season 4? Or was it season 5? Was it season 5,
looked at every episode
4? Yeah.
Ever.
But it was done within the last 2 seasons, and it was a episode.
It was a mini mystery, right?
It was. We did an episode where listeners had suggested stories for us to do.
Yes.
And Sophie, who has been on the podcast and who we absolutely love, is the one that suggests. Hi, Sophie. Hi, Adam. They're the ones that suggested the Matthew Thornton letters. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to read our first paragraph from the original episode that starts with, so this one is kind of bizarre. I had a hard time piecing together where or when all of this started, but the gist of the story is that for quite a while now, at least since 2014, seemingly random people and businesses all across the country have been receiving mysterious letters sent to them by someone named Matthew Thornton. The letters actually look really, really cool. They're really pretty and artistic, but the content is super bizarre. And that was what our one mystery was about, right? Mm-hmm. And we put a call out in that episode for him to send us some letters.
We did.
Or to send a message, a voicemail to our lonely phone line, which he did twice.
Yeah, twice.
We got one from him, and then we got a follow-up one from him asking if we got the letters.
Which we got 3 of, by the way.
And I know I talked about it on here, but it was just funny that day going to the P.O. box. I would love a video of that where I reach in.
The look on your face.
Yeah, where I reach in, grab these 3 big letters out, look at the name, and I start walking out, and I walk out the door, and I literally stop in my tracks. I'm like, wait, Matthew Thornton. And then all of a sudden it was
you just don't
wow.
expect something you did a episode on to like show up in your mailbox.
And this is weird that somebody we did an episode on, now we have stuff from him.
And right away we posted.
That being said, I feel like this kind of diminishes the mystery.
A little bit, maybe.
So, but I'm going to talk at the after we open the letters and read them and play the voicemails. I want to go back and just go back over our 4 theories we had about Matthew Thornton.
I will say right up front, when we posted this on Facebook, at least one person was like, this is probably totally a hoax. And I at first was a little hesitant too, but after listening to the voicemails, this is no hoax.
No,
this
I figured as soon as we saw it, because I sent the picture of the envelopes to you and I sent it to Sophie at the same time. And Sophie immediately...
They're very
artistic.
Distinct.
Yeah. Sophie went to Reddit and was looking at ones and she said, no, the writing is the same.
Exactly
the coloring,
the same.
That little yellow highlight on the side is the same.
There's coordinates. This one says Ursa Minor. The others don't say anything like that under the stamp. But
but it's funny because so many people message me and ask me if I crack these open, and I'm like, no. And they're like, well, aren't you curious? And I was like, yeah, but
You're apparently more patient than the rest of us.
Yeah, I'm apparently super patient with this. So,
what are we going to start with?
I don't know. Do you think we should start with the letters or the voicemails?
Let's start with the voicemails.
Okay.
That's what I think we should do.
So the first voicemail, the only thing I edited out of it is his phone number, which he gave us. And I believe in the previous episode about him, we mentioned his phone number because people have called it and talked to him. Mm-hmm. So I think he's okay with it being out there, but I just feel weird.
He didn't give us permission to do that.
I just feel weird leaving it in the voicemail.
Yeah,
so the only thing I edited out is his phone number, the part where he says, if you need to call me, my number is blah, blah, blah. So I edited that out, but I think that is the only thing that I edited out.
Okay.
It was just funny because in that Facebook post, Stephanie, also just sent us the latest missing 411 book. So Stephanie, we love you. And we love you. She said, well, because she went back and listened to that segment right away. And she said, you guys also asked him to call your phone line. So check your lonely phone line. And I did. And I was like, oh, wow, we have a voicemail.
Actually have a voicemail.
But I think it showed up at one point in my email that we got a call. But I assumed it was a student.
Oh.
So then I saw that and I was like, wow, he actually. And then we listened to it. And it's like, yeah, this is legit.
Totally. Okay.
So we're going to play the first voicemail.
Okay.
Hey. This is Matthew Thornton. I appreciate coming across the Strange Sessions episode involving myself. Thank you. Let me take my mask off. Oh, yeah. I will get you a hard copy of some paperwork that I'm currently publishing. I appreciate the references that you did make, and I'm focusing on the one page down in Oceanside, California, is where I'm currently blitzing that area because of a fellow named Giorgio Sophoulos. The Kumbaya plane has avionic features, but notice it's a flat bottom with a slider. Yeah, the little cup part. And that can operate only on two known physical locations on the surface of the Earth, and that would be its magnetic north eye as well as its southern counterpart. You want to look up Rups Nigra, and then also the lost book called The Inventio Fortunata. It's not a large read, maybe a paragraph or two each, but the apt description of these two incredible places does exist. Native Americans used to walk up to these locations and holding hands and circling this event could very well be lifted up in the air, was in fact practiced by the Sioux Nation by hooking themselves up, and was shown in a movie called The Man Called Horse. The trail of the 105 West, which goes through Fort Collins, Colorado, into the Canadian area, well up into the top crown of the world, will be, in fact, a central road path to this area that we are sooner or later are all going to go. The secret of America was the fact that they could walk from pole to pole without employing ships and get the first complete star canopy in the first year. The Lighthouse of Alexandria was made famous by harvesting all of its star charts from the seagoing captains and then assembled a star chart. But the Native Americans, thousands of years before this thing was even constructed in Egypt, had the ability to not only determine the sky canopy, but focused on the nearest star. And how would they have known that? And I'll check the spelling on the town that you're in Wisconsin there and mail you guys some paperwork. And I'm waiting for Beige Frequency to do a second episode involving, you bet, all the conversations that I've had. I've been on the phone more than a few times with conference calling on the other end with college campuses, other high-end locations that had at least a dozen people listening at the same time. Would like to do something possibly for you guys.
Wow.
Yeah, so he got cut off at the end because it went 3 minutes, but that is Matthew Thornton.
And
he doesn't sound like I expected him to.
No, not at all. And I'm hoping that this makes more sense when we open the letters, because I was having a hard time following. I feel like he's trying to make some kind of prediction about something that's happening. But the thing is, like you said, this is like everything he says is almost a rabbit hole that I want to look into. There's
like the
so
stuff
many rabbit holes.
The Lighthouse at Alexandria and the stuff about the movie The Man Called Horse and something about holding hands. And so, yeah, that was...
I'm just not clear on what the message is yet.
Yeah.
Like that didn't make it very clear to me, and I don't know that the letters will help, but I'm hoping they'll help. I'm not clear on what his message is. Yeah,
but it sounds like... I mean, I get what he's saying, but yeah, I'm excited to open these letters. But should we play the second voicemail? Because he called, and I think I didn't listen to this one, but I read like the transcripts, which never are really good. But I think he says something like he didn't realize that it's been so long since our episode about him.
Oh, sure.
But I'm excited to listen.
He
to this
was wanting to make sure we got the letters.
Yeah, because I have not listened to this one yet. So play this one.
This is Matthew Thornton, and I'm hoping you got all the installments on my letters and other recommendations. Did not know that you had produced this on air for quite a while, actually. It's like a year ago. Keep an eye on all my new stuff. That's all I can tell you. If you had the ability to produce a show, and maybe you could make an arrangement and we can all meet somewhere. That'd be kind of cool, huh? Maybe put a face to the sound or the shape to the number. But if you wish, you may contact me. Still doing what I do best. And my letter campaign, or rampage, is going up the 105 West. From the Mexican border, the Canadian border. That's the direction my letters are taking. You guys take care.
So that was voicemail number 2. I think we just right up front because I'm assuming he's going to tune in again and listen.
Probably. I'm wondering if he found us originally by searching
Probably just
for
Googling
Google
his
his
name.
name, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, who's this little scrappy upstart podcast talking about me?
Yeah, I think we're probably a little more rinky-dink than he is aware of. But
Rinky-dink is a good way to describe us.
But just to be super candid, like we don't travel, we don't generally go out and meet people.
No.
We record in my basement.
We are both frightened at the idea of going traveling and going on like a tour or a circuit and like interviewing people, because I feel like that's not our thing.
Well, yeah, interviews are just not our thing. I mean, we occasionally have a guest host, but that's a totally different thing than an interview. We just have someone who comes with a topic or helps us talk about a topic. It's usually a good friend of ours. We don't do guests. We don't interview people.
Yeah.
It's not our format. It's not the kind of format we want. We found this topic endlessly interesting, and we're so intrigued by these letters. We appreciate him reaching out. So, Matthew, if you're listening, thank you so much. We're excited to dig into your letters and try to get a better handle on what your message is. But, I mean, this is a podcast about also aliens and time travel and hauntings and all sorts of other stuff, and that's really where our focus is. So,
But if he sends us a letter, we'll read the letter.
We will absolutely read it. We will continue whatever message he's trying to get out.
And I feel bad because there's other people that always want us to, like, if we do our tour of the country, to meet up with them and do the podcast.
Listeners, those are listeners.
Yeah, and do the podcast with them, or even all the things we get that so and so is interested in being on your show. And we always have to be like, no, because it's not
our thing.
No, it's not. Like, we're comfortable doing what we do with each other.
Yes.
That sounded sketchier than it was supposed to.
Totally.
But we just don't do that. But if we ever were to, for some reason, do some kind of country-wide tour, maybe. But I just don't think that's ever going to, unless we get the $1 million Spotify deal like Joe Rogan. Or whatever. But yeah, so we probably will never get out that way to do that.
No.
And we don't really have any interest in having somebody come on like that.
It's just not what we do.
No. And I just I love Missing 411 and Dave Politis and all that, but like if somebody was here, I would feel so awkward because I don't know how to do that kind of interview.
I mean, I have with another podcast that I had for work. That's all we did was interview people, but I don't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's why we don't partially why we don't do that on this show, because I don't really enjoy being an interviewer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure to be an interviewer.
There is.
And this is the first time anyone we've ever done a topic on has reached out to us, and we're
so
both sort of like caught off guard, and we don't know what to say or do.
Yeah, so this is like so surreal to me that someone we talked about in an episode
like a year and a half ago
got back to us, which is awesome and cool and fascinating and scary all in one big ball.
100%.
So I wrote down something, but I'm going to get to what he said that I think is interesting, but I'm going to mention that at the end of when we're done talking about his part of the story.
You know how many people are listening right now are like, for God's sakes, we just open the letter?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Let's open the first letter.
Okay, let's open the first letter. I'm opening them in order, so they're dated January 7th, January 12th, and January 21st. They're coming from Sacramento, California.
Yeah.
They have like 39 North.
Should we take a bunch of pictures of these and like put them, post them on Facebook in the strangers?
I mean, I think we have posted pictures.
Not of the, like, just a picture of me holding them. I think that's the only one we have. I don't think I have individual.
Yeah, so I'll take a picture of the first one. With my terrible blurry. It's an iPhone. It should take better photos. Maybe I should clean off the.
That's probably part of it.
That's probably part of it. There's probably like dog slobber on the. Okay.
Lucy, my Lucy girl.
This isn't going to be very.
I'll take them.
Okay. Yeah. You take them. I like the little rabbit stamps, though. One is a Scooby-Doo stamp, which
I think is funny.
Delights
because
me.
In the other ones, he put stickers or stamps on that meant something. And a part of me wonders if we didn't get the Scooby-Doo one because we talk about mysteries.
Oh, that could be.
Which I think is cool.
It is cool. I love Scooby-Doo. I grew up on Scooby-Doo. I like the little rabbit. I like that they're animal-themed. But yeah, he has 120 degrees west, Tahoe. 39 degrees north, and he draws like this sort of square.
Yeah.
And there's like a little orange, almost teardrop shape down by 39 degrees north. And then
And
off
everything
to the...
that he has on here means something.
Okay, which I would love to decipher. Maybe he talks about it in the letters. Okay, should we open the first one?
Instead of hanging these up down here like we do with all our stuff, though, I actually want to kind of take these home today, look at them, and then maybe next time bring them back. But I want them down here because it's just cool
Really
that somebody
analyze
we
them?
talked about on here got in touch with us.
Wow. Right away. Whoa.
That is so cool.
The Secret of America. That's the first thing you see. So we should take pictures of all of this.
This is so cool.
It is really cool. I hope I understand it. Okay. I feel like I'm not doing this justice. Secret of America. I'm questioning everything. I'm like, is this folded over for a reason? You know what I mean?
I'm sure it is. But that's why I want to take it home and like study
man.
this.
Whoa.
And
There's
I don't
so
even
much to unpack here.
I was going to say I don't even think we can read these actually.
Yeah, these aren't things to
I think this is
Oh my goodness.
right? Look at that. I mean, I think this is something we need to take a picture of and put it in our strangers group because it's not readable. Not that it's bad, but it's artistic. And
it's not like there's more.
It's things written over a photo.
This is very complex. So the first thing I opened up is it's like photocopies of artwork from what is that, like Michelangelo? Yeah, is that what those paintings are?
Yeah.
And there's
I
like
love, like this.
then
I just
there's
love
like a
this
French
stuff.
bulldog looking out a window. And there's like little notations everywhere and
It's just a
references to different things.
It's just amazing to
And
me
this
that
is what he was talking about in the voicemail, going pole to pole on foot.
But it's amazing to me that I am holding something from Matthew Thornton. Because
is
before this, he was kind of like this legendary, this mythical person.
Wow.
Right?
And he's using a highlighter to like highlight certain things. I don't know if there's meaning in that. I think what I just want to be able to make meaning out of a lot of this, and I don't know if I can.
This is so cool.
There's a lot of Egyptian stuff.
This is so cool. Like I love the artistry of this.
He's talking about ley lines.
Yeah.
In Egyptian sculptures.
But that's why I want to take this home and kind of pour through it and go through this.
He says this is a map of North America, and there's like a bald eagle.
And is that an otter?
The map? No, what is this? Oh, this is confusing. This is a map of North America, tropical Cancer, and then he has other stuff written upside down.
Just turn me over, Rover.
There's lots of like handwritten. There's like stick figures.
Like I'm like in awe of how cool these are artistically.
Yeah, they are really cool. Yes, I would totally agree with that. I just wish I could make sense of it. He really likes this French bulldog thing.
I think that is so cute.
Oh, there's another one.
This is something that he talked about in his previous episode
duplicate.
was solar storms.
Oh, okay.
Solar storm doomsday. West Coast USA impact zone.
There's like Rosetta Stone stuff. It's just not clear to me what he's trying to communicate with all of this.
No,
like, how
but
do we
sometimes,
connect all of this?
sometimes the best things aren't that
Oh, and then he
clear.
wrote on the back of this envelope, page 1 of 3.
Yeah.
So there's...
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, sometimes the coolest things aren't clear.
Yeah.
And need some digging. So I'm going to dig into this.
Well, and I think an exciting prospect is that we're going to post all of this on the Facebook page.
But the thing is, I think this might be an ongoing thing where I'm going through these, and then if I find something that I think is interesting, I'll bring it up on the episode.
I would love for strangers to analyze this and try to make connections.
Every page?
No. I think that's something I want to do upstairs in better lighting. The lighting down here is really bad.
So maybe put those back in that.
They're not in the order they came out of the envelope, but I don't know if that matters. They're not, the numbers, the pages aren't numbered, so I don't know if they're supposed to be in a certain order.
I don't think so. And I don't want to.
It's like really interesting art.
I don't want to write on there because I don't want to. I like them the way they are. I think they're just so cool looking, and they look
really
exactly like what I saw on Reddit.
Yes, I want to know what the message is, and I can't figure it out so far.
No, but that's things like this aren't
Maybe
always
the
cut and dried.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we'll never know what he's talking about. But
yeah, it could be.
I love.
I
got stuff that I want to say, but I'm going to wait till we get done.
Okay. What I get from it, what I'm sort of piecing together is that he feels like maybe we're shifting back towards the way things were at one time. Like you references.
I wish we were, because the way things are now
no
sucks.
kidding. The way he says we used to be able to walk from pole to pole without whatever, and that we're all going to be heading back up north through that same path. Maybe he feels that there's a shift coming.
No, his stuff is never textbook. This.
There's pictures of cats. This one's all about cats. There's like cats everywhere.
I love his stick figures.
Yeah, I do too. Me Woo, Native American sign. Pomo Shoshone Blackfoot.
Like, I almost feel like this could be artwork. I really do. I mean, it's like photocopied, collages.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And I just think that's so cool. With very interesting, dense stuff written around them.
Yeah, and I feel like this is someone who's probably very educated and very intelligent. And I'm just not smart enough to piece all this together.
Oh.
A lot of
there's this one I get where he's saying the Nazca lines. One of the Nazca lines is a spider.
Okay.
And that is right here. But he said it's also a drawing of the solar wind pattern.
Interesting.
What that means, I'm not sure, but
right.
but that's what he's saying.
There's a lot of references to the Secret of America.
Yeah.
The Tropic of Cancer.
Yeah.
Like, I love the cat pictures on this one. He's talking about supernovas.
This is so cool.
This one mentions Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, like they it's fascinating to me. It's just that's the only word I can think of is I think these are just like beautiful and fascinating and cryptic and
very cryptic. Because I was thinking there'd be a letter explaining it.
No, but there never has been in his stuff. It's always this.
Wow. So I wonder, is he just primarily mailing these to people, or does he leave these places where people find them?
No, I think primarily mailing.
Supernova occurred about 1,000 years ago. This one was 4,000 light years away. You could see it even during the day. And then he has like a drawing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's talking about like astrological events, ley lines, how certain things in like Egyptian...
this picture, this one I would take a picture of and put it on our Facebook
that's
group
really cool,
because
actually.
I mean we're not going to do every page, but
No.
I think take like 5 or 6 pictures of pages and just put them on there, show people what they're like.
There's definitely like a theme.
There
you know
is,
what I mean?
but it's
Welcome to Reddit.
What I like in this too is armchair treasure hunt, where it's this art, it's these cryptic things you don't know what they mean, and
this is the plane he was
part of an armchair treasure hunt is that you have to dig into what's on there, and that's what I feel like this kind of is that you have to dig into all these references,
figure out how they connect.
Did you see that he's got the Reddit stuff on there?
Yeah, I just read that.
Yeah.
Somebody posted about speaking to him on Reddit.
Somebody posted about speaking to him on Reddit, so he's got a copy of the person's Reddit thing, but then he's got what that person said underlined and highlighted.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool.
Interesting. Okay, we have one more to open.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely want to take these home and just pour over these.
Yeah.
I never thought in a million years that we would have actual Matthew Thornton letters that we were
And
holding.
I would love to know, are these books that he has that he's making photocopies?
If not, they should be. It has to be. I mean, I'm assuming it has to be.
Or he's printing them off the internet? I'm not sure.
No, I'm assuming that it's like from magazines or books.
KC.
Let me see.
So it says 3 of 3 Polaris and then KC Green. Does it say Green Bay?
Green Bay. Yep.
Why would it say Green Bay?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Maybe it's because it's the closest place to us.
Maybe. What's KC?
Kansas City.
It says Green Bay #1. As in football?
No.
Was there like a football game between Kansas City and Green Bay that weekend?
It could have been.
The Chiefs, only one of me. It says only one of me. I can't get it open. What the heck? That was a struggle. That's weird. It's a picture of someone, but it's signed. Does it say Rush Hoffman?
Yeah. Huh.
That's really,
this to me looks
I'm like, is that's
no,
what is this what you picture him looking like?
No. This is like
okay.
so much an armchair treasure hunt,
It
though.
really
like
is.
like deciphering why this is important.
Rich Hoffman.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look into that.
I don't know. Who
This is stuff that I'm just going to have to sit down. One of my mornings when I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning, just sit with my computer and just look up some of this stuff.
Read chapter. Oh, he's talking about, I think this is like a Bible reference. Too many guns, too many guns.
That I agree with.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to read this. Too many guns, too many guns. Even if you stop making them, too many bombs, too many bombs. Over 30,000, that is too many bombs. Over 29,700, too many. Because you cannot tell me where 300 are not. 300 would be enough to take all away.
It would.
Unless those days are cut short. No flesh would be saved. Oh. It is end of game. Do you copy? Well, that's kind of scary to think about. If you live in Russia, maybe
I'm worried about how things
or
are
Ukraine.
progressing. I'm worried about how things are progressing with that.
Yeah. Well, they just called for all Americans to get out now, or you're going to be stuck there. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction. Jim is home. And all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you? This is like a quote from somebody from U.S. General Assembly.
I think it looks like more Reddit stuff on the back of that one or something from the internet.
Another day. It's the
another day in
in
paradise. We talked about that in the last episode. This is a lot of. I think this might be some of the stuff that he has sent out in the past because I feel like this I've seen before.
Okay.
So I wonder if he sends the same stuff out or if these are brand new.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Because I've seen this page before.
Okay. Welcome to our first step into heaven. Yes, our nearest stars will contain planets. Let's go see.
That's so cool.
A lot of Egyptian drawings.
References too in the other ones.
This is referencing something on YouTube. This Another Day in Paradise.
Yeah, that's the Phil Collins song, Another Day in Paradise.
So the song has
these
over
are the
4
lyrics.
million,
No, these are the
100
lyrics.
Okay.
Yeah, these are the lyrics to Another Day in Paradise. There's Puxatawny Phil. It's so cool.
Interesting. Crazy. I mean, it's. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
You can't sneak in and out of here.
Yeah, I think he's just going to come in here during the podcast and
And
not come over and say
it.
hi.
He's stuffing a bunch of food in the freezer. Do you want to look at some letters? See if you can make sense of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna come back
like,
down and
"I'm
know.
out."
He's gonna come back down
He'd
and
be
know
like,
everything.
all right. He'll be all like frazzled and like, all right, guys.
He'd be like, I told you,
Here's
we'll
what
go
I
up
think is
there
going on.
and he'll have like the
Red yarn
He'll have
pointing.
the red yarn going around stuff.
I left you alone for 10 minutes. What happened?
So wow. So yeah,
That was a lot to take in.
that was a lot to take in.
Again, I feel like I don't quite know the message unless it's that we're heading for some
I don't think
major
anybody knows the message,
shift.
but I think part of the message is figuring out yourself what the message is.
It feels to me the overall theme is we're heading towards some kind of major shift that we could have predicted
Yeah.
a long time ago.
But there's some political stuff in there, like
Yep.
homelessness, guns,
Yep.
which I'm totally on board with
Yep.
his views
he
on that.
mentions COVID on one of those.
Yeah. Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Jim's
don't know.
getting comfortable. I just heard him pull out of cherries at the table right now.
He's pouring over everything.
He's been really excited about these letters. So.
Yeah. So was Adam and Sophie, because Sophie's the one that turned me on to this.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't even know what to say about that.
My
because
mind
that
is
was,
very full right now.
Yeah, that was
A
amazing.
lot. Yes.
It's still surreal to me that we're holding actual letters from Matthew Thornton.
It
who
is.
We talked about in an episode.
Yes. This is the first time in 6 seasons that this has
But
ever
this
happened.
isn't going to be easily digest it.
No.
I mean, this
will take
I'm
a
going to
while.
look at these. I want to see if I can gather a little more what he's talking about. But I think part of the reason he does this is because we have to figure it out for ourselves instead of him just saying, look,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. But I want to go back before we get done talking about him.
So real quick though, do you anticipate us doing like a follow-up episode, like an update? Okay.
Yeah, because if he wants to send us something else, I would love to see it.
But I mean, after you do some digging.
Yes, I do. I want to. I could see us doing a mini mystery where
or housekeeping,
I
whatever.
look into some of the stuff he's talking about.
Yeah, like pick
or
one
housekeeping,
thing and dive into it.
Yeah, or housekeeping. But I want to go through these. But before we get done, and if he sends us another one, we'll look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're probably not gonna reach out like phone wise.
No.
Again, that's not our thing.
No. We appreciate him reaching out though.
Totally.
We appreciate that, Matthew.
That to me made everything like perfect.
Yeah.
We heard from somebody we talked about.
Yeah.
Now, if I could get my hands on the Bet Sphere, that would be amazing.
Or a slice of Coochie's key
Or a slice of Captain Coochie's key lime pie. I heard it's pretty good. But I want to go back to our 4 theories that we had at the end of the episode about him.
We mean no offense by any of this.
No,
these are
we
just
do
the
not.
theories.
But these were the theories that I've seen talked about in Reddit. Theory number 4, he's a time traveler. Matthew Thornton was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. Yeah, he's not a time traveler.
Do you think that's actually his real name?
I don't know. That has crossed my mind. I think it is. I think
he doesn't seem like he's trying to hide.
He seems very matter of fact, and I
Yeah.
think he's like, no, I think that he wouldn't use a fake name.
Yeah.
Especially since he gives his number out for people to call him and contact him. So no, I don't think that's a fake name. I think it's just coincidentally the same name as one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence.
Okay.
But I don't think he's a time traveler.
No, probably not.
Theory number 3, I'm going down from the top one, from number 4 to number 1.
Okay.
Theory number 3, he's a group, not just one person.
Oh, interesting.
There's a lot of letters. No, I don't think he's a group anymore. I
No,
think
because
he is
once
just,
he creates them, he just has to
Yeah.
photocopy
yeah,
them.
I think he's just one person.
And it's the same handwriting on all the envelopes.
Yeah.
I think he's one person
Yeah.
too.
Theory number 2, he's real, but he's schizophrenic or has mental disorders. And I'm going to say no.
I don't think so either.
No, because
I don't know that I know enough.
But I'm going to get to number 1.
Okay.
He's a real sane person. Other people have commented that he lives in their town and they know him, and they say he's a very eccentric but knowledgeable fellow.
Eccentric.
People who have talked to him on the phone come away believing that he's completely sane and that he just knows a lot of stuff. And
Yeah.
I 100% think that's what it is.
Yes.
I really do. I know people like him that
There's like a theory that people who are super intelligent
Yes.
are just a little bit,
eccentric, off.
a little
And
off because they have so much
yes,
up
I
there.
know people like him. I have met people like him,
Yeah.
and I think that's what it is. I think
Eccentric
that
is
he
the
knows
u-
so
yeah.
much.
It's the word I would use. For
I think
sure.
he knows so much, and I think the letters and stuff is either a way to get you to do some digging to figure out what he's talking about rather than spoon feeding it to you,
Mm-hmm.
or he sees what we don't see in that.
I feel like it's similar to
It's
the
like
Toy and
people
Bee
who can
tiles.
see music when they hear music. You know,
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who can visually see music. I think he visually sees what he is talking about, but maybe we can't.
And I think it's similar to the Toy and Bee tiles.
Yeah.
It's sort of like artwork that's
Yes.
trying to transmit some kind of a message,
Yes.
but in a strange and
Yes,
eccentric way.
that's a very good way to look at it. That's what I
Yeah.
feel like this is. Like, I love the artistic letters.
He's
I really
clearly
do.
very passionate about whatever
Yes.
this is.
Yeah. So, in the end, I feel like it's not a mystery anymore because it's a real person that just wants to get this message out. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's not a mystery, but I feel like it's still fascinating. And I feel like what he sees and what he is trying to convey in these is a mystery. I feel like
Yes,
he's
that's the
not.
mystery.
He's not, but
He's
the
no longer
message
the
still
mystery.
is. So
Yes.
that is something that I'm going to dig into and see if I can make any headway.
I also feel like maybe he's someone who is super intelligent and just doesn't put together the fact that the rest of us aren't going to be able to make the same sense of this stuff that
Yeah,
he does because
yeah.
we're not on the same
No, and that goes to
intellectual
what I
level
said
as
that
him.
one time when I talked about, it's ironic because I'm actually going to mention this place I'm going to talk about this place in our side session. But when my dad went to Caltech College in California for a little while, he said there were engineers there that he said were the smartest people he's ever met, but were the dumbest at the same time that he's ever met.
Yeah.
Like they are so
socially?
smart. And it's just like you said, like they're explaining something to my dad and looking at him like he's an idiot because he can't comprehend what
Right.
they easily comprehend.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what this is. Like, he sees this, we don't. It's our job to
figure it
see
out.
it.
Yeah.
To learn how to see it.
We're not speaking the same language.
No.
He's
No.
speaking a much more advanced language than the
Yes,
rest
and it's
of
our
us.
job to learn how to see that.
Yeah, and
that's the way I
interpret
look at it. And the last thing I want to say is what I said in that last episode is that he should do podcasting. He should go on
His own podcast.
His YouTube, like do a YouTube thing where it's like Krista and I do, where it's just us talking.
Yeah.
You know, do a 10-minute chunk every couple days if you want to get your message out there. But then the thing he
He's kinda
said,
old school though,
the
right?
thing he said in that voicemail that I wrote down was when he said to do what I do best.
Yes.
And that is
This is his life's mission.
the artwork. It is the letters. It is, there's something cool about it being letters, like old-fashioned
Right.
letters
It
in the
is.
mail.
Handwritten, addressed.
Yeah. That
Old
is
school,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is, there's something romantic about that.
Totally.
So I don't think do the YouTube podcast anymore. Keep doing what you're doing. Get
Yeah.
this out there, and people,
people
will
like
discover.
us-
Yeah, people like us will discover it.
Yeah.
So
And spread the word.
yeah. So I think that's really all I have. That's really
Yeah.
all I have to say.
Until we have a chance to really kind of
Dig into this a
analyze
little more.
them.
Yeah. But
Unless Jim comes down 5 minutes from now and is like, guys,
it is like, look,
I
this
figured
is so
it out.
easy. Just look. There's the
believe you're
gopher,
not
the gopher
seeing
here,
this.
and there's the cat here.
And the Sphinx.
And the
Hello.
yeah. But yeah, so thank you so much for sending us the
Yeah.
voicemails and
the letters.
the letters. Like, I'm still gobsmacked that
I wonder if
got
he gets
this.
frustrated that people,
He probably does,
don't
but I feel
understand.
like it's right now I'm working on that Whistle Pig armchair treasure hunt that has been hidden. It's a key that's been hidden since 2002, I believe.
Wow.
And in the book that the Whistle Pig that I'm reading, the author says, oh no, it wasn't in the book. It was on Jenny Kyle's website, Mysterious Writings, where she interviewed the author. And she says, do you have any more clues to give listeners? And he says, no. He says, once the baby bird leaves the nest, it's up to them. And I feel like that's how this is. Like, we're the baby birds and do with it what you will.
Yep.
So that's really all I have to say about this.
Yeah.
Fascinated. I'm just shocked that we got actual letters
too.
from him that I love, that we have a physical thing now.
Yeah.
But the mystery, I feel like, is no longer there. He's a real sane person that
Yep.
wants to get his message out, but now
Agreed.
the mystery is his message.
I totally agree.
So yeah,
Cool.
what do you think?
It's fascinating, and I feel honored.
Haven't heard much from Jim upstairs, so
No.
he's... Lucy better not eat those letters. I'd be so
she
mad.
does like paper products.
Tearing it apart. So that, Matthew, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you,
And
Matthew.
he doesn't sound anything like I expected. He sounds...
No. Do you think he's like in his 50s? That's
I think
kind of what
40s.
40s
I think-
or 50s?
Yeah. But he sounds like a guy that I would just like talk to.
Okay.
I love when he
Yeah.
takes the mask off and he goes,
He's
oh,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, yeah."
That's like my favorite part.
That's how we all feel when we take our mask
Yes.
off. Oh, yeah. I can stop mouth breathing now.
So cool. Thank you so much, Matthew. And I'm going to dig into this.
Yeah. Cool.
So now on to the second story. This is one, like I said,
That's right. We have a second mini
yeah,
mystery.
this is one that I said
Hello.
that we've been sitting on. I've been sitting on for like a year. I had it all typed up and I didn't know when I was going to use it, but then we didn't know how long the Matthew Thornton stuff was going to go. So it's not a super long story, but I honestly don't know what to make of this.
Okay.
I don't.
I'm excited.
At 1114 Fountain Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, there's a really cute little house. Back in 1987, that house was owned by elderly married couple Will and Minnie Winston. Minnie was 77 years old and her husband Will was 79 years old. By all accounts, they were a very nice, very quiet African-American couple. Will was in poor health and had to be connected to a dialysis machine every day at a local medical center. The process often left him and his wife exhausted. On the evening of September 8th, 1987, Minnie decided to take a shower while her husband slept in the other room. Around 11:30 p.m., she stepped out of the shower and noticed something weird. The bathroom floor now had small puddles on it that looked like blood. She worried that something had happened with her husband, so she opened the bathroom door and discovered that the tile floor in the hallway also had puddles of blood on it. Panicked, she called out to her husband. He got out of bed and came to the bedroom door, and Minnie was relieved to see that he looked okay. The two of them looked at the weird puddles and wondered if some kind of wounded animal or rodent got into the house. They decided to look in other rooms, and they found the substance everywhere, sometimes on the floor, sometimes on the walls, and a lot of it seemed to be near the heating vents. They didn't know what to do, so they called the police. Sometime after midnight, Detective Steve Cartwright and a few other officers showed up to the residence. They immediately knew that the substance did seem to be blood, so they did a search of the house for signs of a break-in or someone wounded. There seemed to be so much blood that they were sure if someone was inside the house, they were probably dead from blood loss. They didn't find anything suspicious other than the blood, which they found pretty much everywhere, including inside inaccessible crawl spaces in the basement and coming up through the floor underneath appliances.
What?
Detective Steve Cartwright later said that in his 10 years of service, he had never seen anything like this. They seriously had no idea what to do. They took samples of the substance for the labs to process, and they left the house. During a news conference held on September 10th, a police officer said that the house contained, quote, copious amounts of blood splattered on the walls and floors of the home. Right?
This is the weirdest thing I've heard in a long time.
A few days later, Officer Cartwright returned to the house with the lab results. The substance was blood, and it was found to be human blood, specifically blood type O. The Winstons told the officer that they both had blood type A, which was later confirmed by the medical center that the couple went to. Once this story hit the news, you can imagine what happened. The couple was pretty much harassed day and night by phone calls, people wanting to come in and see the house, or people driving by and gathering outside in front of the house at all hours. A 1987 AP news story says, quote, Mrs. Winston said Thursday that she was weary of all the attention the bizarre discovery had brought. I still don't know where the blood came from, and I'm tired of all these people asking me all these questions, she said. If anybody comes here today, I'm not going to open my door. She said the 6-room brick house in southwest Atlanta was besieged by calls and visits Wednesday from those intrigued by the mystery. The phone rang all night, people asking me dumb questions, she said. I'm fed up with all of this. And I don't blame her.
Yeah.
From the book Labyrinth 13th by Kurt Rowlett, he writes, quote, as you would expect, the story created a huge sensation when it hit the local news, becoming the top story for several days on both television and talk radio, where callers into the show suggested everything from a deliberate hoax to manifestations of demonic forces. The video segments filmed inside the house that were broadcast on the various news channels showed many different sizes of bloodstains in the home that ranged from silver dollar-sized pools to 6-inch by 2-inch streaks on the floor and carpet. There were also tiny patterned droplets of blood that looked to me as if they had been sprayed from an atomizer or a spray bottle at a downward angle onto the walls, floor, and baseboards.
So, when did this happen? Like, somebody was taking a nap and someone was in the shower?
Her husband was sleeping, and she was in the shower.
So it happened within like a 10-minute, maybe tops 20-minute window of time.
Yep.
Okay.
I decided to go straight to the source. I telephoned the Winston home and was able to interview Mrs. Winston person to person about the strange events. And while she was pleasant and forthcoming, it was obvious that she was reluctant about reopening the matter to public scrutiny. I learned that she and her husband had lived in the 6-room brick house for 22 years, and they had never experienced anything unusual in the house prior to the blood incident. But when I questioned her closely about the bloodstains, Mrs. Winston was quite adamant that it was not blood that had appeared in the house, but it was rather, quote, rust and mud mixed with water, that she said she believed was sprayed into the house by steam from a ruptured hot water heater in the basement.
Even though the police determined it was type O?
The fact that samples from the pools and splatter had been tested by the police and determined to be actual human blood, with even a subgroup typing, effectively ruled out Mrs. Winston's theory. Also, rusty, muddy water propelled by steam would have needed a way to reach the upper floors, and according to Mrs. Winston, there were only 2 floor vents in their home, and neither of those had any of the substance inside or right outside of them. I knew that her statement in this regard simply was not accurate in light of the tests made by police, but it soon became obvious to me why she would want to make such a claim. Mrs. Winston emphasized quite strongly to me that if the substance had been actual blood, she would not have been willing to stay in the house anymore. I asked Mrs. Winston if she or her husband ever experienced anything like this in the house prior to the incident, and specifically whether or not she believed if her house was haunted. She denied that anything had ever happened like that in the past, but would not answer my question directly about the possibility that her home might have been the site of a supernatural occurrence. But it was obvious to me that real blood was the last thing she wanted the substance to be, both because she was afraid of the possibility and due to the fact that the case had received so much publicity while the story was still in the news. And this is also from the guy's book. Included here for the editorial balance is a synopsis of a report prepared by Rebecca Long of the Georgia Skeptics Society. Several members of the Georgia Skeptics Society also investigated the Winston case in 1994, and according to their report, were told by the police detective in charge of the case at the time that it was his professional opinion that someone had deliberately splattered the blood around the house as a hoax, further stating that family problems apparently existed which gave either the Winstons or their children a possible motive for perpetrating such a hoax. The detective believed that the Winstons could have had access to human blood because Mr. Winston was a kidney dialysis patient, leading to his suggestion that one or both of the Winstons might have hoaxed the blood incident in order to get more attention from their children. The detective also stated that the Winstons' daughter worked in a hospital and had access to human blood, and figured that the Winstons' children could have hoaxed the blood in order to have their parents legally declared incompetent for financial reasons. Those both seem like such
really far-fetched.
Such a stretch.
Yeah.
Those theories are, of course, as viable as any supernatural explanation would be. But it is important to remember that although the Georgia Skeptical Society takes a time-tested, rational, or logical approach, their conclusions are still only so much speculation, as no real evidence for the greed or sympathy theories exists beyond what the circumstances may appear to suggest. So yeah,
Super
from
bizarre.
From an awesome article on the Truly Adventure website called "The Blood House at Fountain Drive," the article says, quote, "Having been so eager to solve it initially, the police abruptly began to distance themselves. They aired their infighting in public, accusing the various blood processing labs of having delayed testing and depriving investigators of additional information. Questions were posed about whether the Winstons practiced any ritualistic or sacrificial religions, a race-tinged canard to explain the blood. They're African American, so it's like, do you guys participate in any sacrificial?
Come on.
Like, that's just
absurd.
Dumb. Yeah. In another racially charged line of thought, the possibility had been raised of whether or not a gang-related weapon could have been hidden inside the dwelling, in the process dripping or spattering the blood. The word hoax was...
Aren't they in their 70s?
Yeah. The word hoax was also then thrown... I can't really see them doing drive-bys, unless it was like their grandchildren.
So when was this? This is the 80s?
87.
What came to my mind was like... Was this some sort of racist thing? Did someone break into their house and target them for some reason?
I'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
The word hoax was also thrown around. The word hoax was also thrown around. One anonymous police source scoffed that some adults will act like children just to get attention, infantilizing the Winstons, parents of 3 and grandparents of many who both had spotless records. A whispering campaign began alleging that one of the Winstons' grown daughters, who worked at a hospital, could have been responsible for planting the blood, the whispers tainting her and the family name and besmirching her profession. Law enforcement also explicitly linked the case to the latest police shooting, although in a manner that positioned the incidents as competing with each other. The house is not a high priority right now, a police lieutenant announced, because of the shooting. A spokesperson put a finer point on closing their work at Fountain Drive even without any answer, saying, quote, "Until such time we have determined a crime was committed, it doesn't merit a whole group of investigators working on it." The Winstons returned to their lives as private people, sometimes spotted relaxing in lawn chairs in their wired-in backyard. Kurt Rowlett, the rock and roll paranormal aficionado, decided to try calling them on the phone after things quieted down. Minnie answered. "Rust and mud," she explained when talking about what the blood had been. The answer was, of course, a deflection, considering the human blood present had been an undeniable fact. But by this point, the Winstons were content to put the chapter behind them and say little else about it. When Rowlett was asked point-blank whether the house had been haunted or had been the site of a paranormal event, Minnie quickly changed the subject. Believers and skeptics, paranormalists and police alike, all came to believe that Minnie was never able to share all the horrors they possibly experienced behind those closed doors. Will Winston died in 1989, 2 years after the events of that September night. Minnie Winston passed away in 2015 at the age of 104.
Dang.
Yep. And that's what I got. And theories for theories, I have written in big letters, no idea.
What's tough is that she wouldn't admit to anything else happening, so we have no idea if there's a history of activity there.
But people say it sounds like stuff happened there, but she did not want to talk about it.
Yeah.
The theories...
I don't even know where to go.
No. The theory... What did I tell you that I was going to address? Like the theory that the daughter works at a hospital.
Oh.
If you work at a hospital, you can't just go to the fridge and grab a bag
not
of
like a
blood.
blood vending
Oh, what I was
machine.
going to say was that she swears, and she said maybe she's wrong and she is remembering it wrong, but she swears that the house alarm, the door alarm, was set that night before she took the shower.
Okay. So nobody could have come in.
Unless it was her kids that had access to the code. But for it to be in the inaccessible crawl space in the basement or under the TV, coming up through the floor. How could you do that
in the time she was in the shower?
I don't know. But coming up through the floor underneath the TV in the basement?
No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So
that's not a hoax is not a reasonable explanation if things happen the way they say they did. She was in the shower and it happened while she was in the shower.
But if the kids want to prove that they shouldn't be, that they're
incompetent.
That they're incompetent. Isn't there a better way to do it than splattering blood all over the house?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I literally don't know.
It's far-fetched.
Yeah. I honestly don't know what to think of this.
I don't either. There's like no rational explanation.
No, there's not. It happened this one time, but, were the tests faulty that said it was? But if they were able to say with certainty that it was blood
even
type O.
blood.
Yeah.
If they just said it's human blood, that'd be one thing.
And
but
neither of them are type O. They're type A.
Right.
So
clearly neither one of them was injured.
No. And the idea that it was a gangster came in there with a bloody gun and hit it somewhere in the house and then left.
I feel like they would have, if they had connections like that, that would have been uncovered.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
I don't like that just because they're African American. That's some of the explanations.
Or ritualistic,
they came up
like
with.
they sacrifice
That's
chickens
so
in their
stupid.
basement.
Right.
I literally have nothing. I think that's one of the reasons I sat on this one for so long.
You have
is
no
because
theories.
I have nothing. There's no the theories are it was something paranormal, but I've never heard of
what?
I don't know.
And
why?
There's no other activity that we know of.
No. Or the theory is that their kids did it or they did it. Which is just
so
neither of them
extreme.
seem like why would they do it?
Right.
I mean, where did they get the blood?
Right. And how could they have done it in that short amount of time and get it into all those areas of the house?
So the daughter takes a bag of blood from the fridge at the hospital, comes there at just
Sounds like it was more than a bag of blood, too.
The same time she's in the shower, sprinkles it around the house, goes in the basement and crawl spaces underneath the TV set.
All totally undetected.
So I just don't know. I mean, I honestly have nothing for this. It's just weird. It
sounds
totally.
like it actually happened.
It did. It did actually happen.
Yeah.
I've read tons of the newspaper reports about it. It did happen. The police guy
never
says it
heard
did
of
happen. And I just don't know what to say about it.
It's really bizarre.
Yeah, like why?
This is truly a mini mystery.
What people have said is frustrating is that there's no pictures of the blood,
Oh,
so
sure.
we don't know.
Yeah, that would be nice.
There are reports that when she called the police the first time, that she said something like, "quote it's spurting out of the floor like a sprinkler."
Oh my gosh! So it was actively happening.
That's what quotes say that she said when the police. But then other people say it was just like dime-sized droplets of blood on the floor and in the basement and on the walls. So it would be nice if there was some sort of video or photographic evidence to see what this is.
Because those accounts are inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference between it being a little tiny dime-sized
And
drop or being
splattered
a
all over the
pool or like
walls.
shooting out of the floor like a sprinkler.
Right.
Like a blood slip and slide.
Right.
So I don't. I just don't know. And that's got to be why I've never done this one, is because I literally have no idea of what to say about it. It's just weird.
What state is this?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah. That one article was really good. The one on the Truly Adventure website, but it's very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Biased?
Not biased, but very descriptive and very almost like fictional. Like it's almost like a fictional account.
Prose.
But yeah, it's almost
too much prose.
But it's one of the better articles
a
about this.
dramatization.
But there's
sort
tons of pictures you can find. This is the couple, because it's going to be in the teaser picture.
Oh, they did not perpetrate a hoax.
No, I can't see Minnie
Come
out there
on.
shooting blood around from.
No.
But no, and it was human blood. The lab said human blood type O.
Weird.
And that's all I can say.
My mind
it's
is
just
boggled.
bizarre.
I have no idea.
I have no idea either. So I just feel like there's no way to wrap this one up because
No.
I don't know.
It truly is a mystery.
Yeah, but what I would like to really know is if they've had previous paranormal events happen in the house.
Right.
But
the fact that she went on to deny that it was blood is very interesting to me. It's telling.
Yeah, no, she said it was rust and mud and water, which they knew it wasn't because it was tested to be human blood.
Right, that's weird.
So that's my mini mystery about the house on Fountain Drive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Truly a mystery.
Yeah, truly a mystery. I don't know what to say about it.
We have no answers, and
if
we
you
probably
guys
never
have
will.
any idea whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
Okay. Now,
we have questions?
I want to give a shout out to our armchair treasure hunt winner.
Okay.
Back in the Christmas episode, I made a little poem that led to somewhere in the world where I had a virtual treasure buried. Mm-hmm. Beth, who did our awesome Strange Sessions Toy and Be Tile shirts, sent me a picture of where it was the day after I posted it. So
which is why she was
exempt. Beth, you're too good at this. But I think it was like a week later, listener Todd Trexler sent me the correct information. And I don't know if I want to go through the whole poem. Do I want to say how it worked?
Sure.
Okay.
We got time.
Okay. The whole poem, and I'm going to stop during the poem and tell you what the answer is. The distant ground still cries until new hopes arise. That line is going to be important.
Okay.
Next lines are, and these are important because this is one of the pieces of the puzzle. A school in London, a windy saloon, a haunted hotel, or a rainy tea room. Those four things lead you to Queen Mary. Queen Mary is a haunted boat that is now a hotel. Queen Mary's University in London. Queen Mary Tavern in Chicago, which is a windy saloon. And the rainy tea room is the Queen Mary Tea Room in Seattle, which is notoriously rainy. So those four things lead you to Queen Mary. The next lines are, find what these four things have in common, you see, then go to its top, apex, apogee, and that's going to lead you eventually to peak, P-E-A-K. So what that is Queen Mary's Peak, the top of Queen Mary's Peak. Stable, down below the treasure lays, dreaming away its night and days. For another part of the solution, listen well, this will help lead you to where the treasure does dwell. In my first and my seventh, remove a starting letter, and then just to line things up a little bit better, in my eighth, add a letter to the start of a word. From these three, one of several can be inferred. You don't need to just take a shot in the dark. You're looking for the one that's related to Mark. People figured this one out. My first and seventh refers to the lines of the poem, and it says remove a starting letter. So in the first line of the poem, there is the word ground. Take away the G, that gives you the word round. In the seventh line, there's the word stable. You take away the first letter, table. And in the eighth, there's the word night. You add the letter K to the start, and it gives you round table night. You have to look at the knights of the round table, and the one that's related to Mark is the nephew of Mark, and that is Sir Tristan. So far we have Queen Mary's Peak and then Tristan. And as far as clues, here is the third. The next line may just help you with finding a word. And that line is, inside this poem, some firsts can be aligned. And that is the second line of the poem. Cries until new hopes arise. Firsts aligned are the first letters of each word, which are C-U-N-H-A, which leads you to the word Kuna. So we have Queen Mary's Peak, Tristan, and Kuna. If you string these three together, the answers you'll find. Google search will help, and Google Earth too. Zoom in a little and this puzzle will be through. At its bottom point, the treasure is buried, and up to the heavens all its love will be carried. If you go to Google and type in the words Queen Mary's Peak, Tristan, and Kuna, it will take you to an island in the South Atlantic called Tristan da Cunha. And if you go on Google Maps and look at it, you'll find Queen Mary's Peak. And if you zoom in, right below Queen Mary's Peak is a dormant volcano, and at the bottom of the volcano is a heart-shaped lake. And that's where the treasure is, at the bottom point of the heart-shaped lake, and that's what the last line refers to, where it says, and up to the heavens all its love will be carried.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
and
very
it
clever.
amazed me. It amazed me how people figured out some of this stuff. I mean, a lot of people got Tristan. A lot of people did figure out Tristan in the round table night. So I was like amazed at the people that were figuring this out. But Todd and Beth both sent me the screenshot of the heart-shaped lake at the bottom of Queen Mary's Peak. So amazing job, Todd. You did great. So Krista and Corey signed the show notes from our Armchair Treasure episode. So Krista and I just signed it. So we are going to mail that out to you with some stickers and a gift card for Amazon.
Yeah.
Not much, but it's still better than nothing.
Yeah.
This might be worth money on eBay someday, so save it. So just congratulations.
Yeah, that's
I'm glad
amazing.
people love doing the Armchair Treasure Hunt, but it's so hard to do it because I didn't know if it was too easy, too difficult.
I don't know that I would have ever figured that out.
Yeah.
I've never done an armchair treasure hunt. I'm sure once you start doing them and understand,
You start to know what you're looking for.
Looking for the
Yep.
patterns.
You start looking for patterns.
Yeah.
And I basically said in here what you kind of needed to look for, so it's just a matter of that.
Well done on both ends.
So thank you. And thank you so much, Todd, for congratulations for solving that. We'll send your package out very soon. Okay. Questions or songs? Should we do questions?
Yeah.
We had a couple questions sent in from listeners. I'm going to do 3 of them.
Okay.
I think we might have got more. Oh, we also have a story from Matt, but I think I'm going to save that for the next episode.
Oh, I was going to read something from Xander.
Yeah, maybe let's do those next episode.
Okay. Do you want to write a note somewhere so I don't forget?
Yes.
He had a doppelganger encounter that I
so
wanted
did the person
to read.
that sent me the story, so I want to save those for our next one. Okay. Listener Carl Wagner, who is awesome, he's a good guy. I
think he's a long time
listener. Yeah, he needs to become
too.
a very good friend of mine. He sent us one of these after a couple beers. But this first one he sent to us, I believe we've answered before, but you never know. He says, listener question submission. If you could do a dream investigation, any location in the world, all access, where would you go and investigate? And mine has always been the Queen Mary. I'm obsessed with the Queen Mary. Like doing an investigation on the boat, the Queen Mary, the boat/hotel that is supposedly haunted. Like I would love to investigate that. That is my number one dream place.
I'm going to say JFK Prep.
I feel so bad. I feel so bad that you didn't get to investigate
It's
that
right
with
in our
us.
backyard practically,
Yeah.
and I've never
And
been
it's
able
just
to
like
do it.
But man, that place just fascinates me because we all, when we were investigating it, Barry, myself, Matt, Katie,
Rhonda,
Mark, all of us felt so weirdly drawn. We felt
I'm drawn
We felt
to
like
it.
we were not happy unless we were on that property, and it was such a weird feeling.
I mean, I've been there. I'm
Yeah.
just not in an investigation capacity, and
Yeah,
maybe
and
someday it'll
makes,
change
It makes
ownership.
me so sad that you weren't with
Yeah.
us at the time we
But more,
investigated
if
it.
I were to pick more of a well-known place, I'd say the Stanley Hotel probably.
Oh yeah, I would totally love the Stanley
Yeah.
Hotel too. And his next question.
Is this after a beer or two?
This is okay. He writes, okay, let me preface this by saying I'm 3 beers deep. This doesn't need to make the podcast, LOL, but I don't care if it does. So he was 3 beers deep.
Okay.
And this is
I'd be incapacitated at that point because I don't drink. But
would you rather be at the mercy of an incubus/succubus for 1 week or be haunted in your home by a myriad of spirits who all do the hurdy-gurdy walk and watch you from a distance of inches while you sleep every night for 2 months?
those are 2 horrible choices.
Well, the succubus or incubus, has sex with you. Like, they're a demon that has sex with you.
But it's a demon.
Yeah.
I'm going with choice number 2 because I just don't want to ever mess with anything demonic. I don't care if it's a
Yeah, but I don't want things doing that
Sexy
creepy
encounter.
walk in my apartment and, watching me while I'm sleeping.
keep your lights off and don't look at stuff. I'm going with number 2.
I'm going with the demon sex.
I don't want anything touching me. See, it doesn't say anything about them touching you in the second
Yeah, but if it's a
choice.
succubus or incubus, I'm assuming, they're not touching you in the second one, but I don't want something watching me while I sleep because that creeps me out. If it's a little demonic hanky-panky and it's over quick.
How do you know it's going to be over quick?
It's going to be over quick. We won't get into that. But but yeah, so I'm going with the
Going with
demon
number
sex.
2.
I'm going with demon sex. Krista's going
No
with the
demons.
Krista's going with the
I'll take a 2 months of really annoying house guests.
Yeah, I'm going with the incubus/succubus.
I'll draw a little salt thing around my room and then they can't come in
Then
there.
they can't get through there. Yeah.
I need a sanctuary.
Interesting question.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Interesting question,
I
Carl.
love when people give us two terrible choices
I do
and we have
too.
to pick one.
I do too. And this other one was sent, it was actually messaged to me just yesterday by listener Nicole. She says, I have a question for the podcast. This is probably a better way to submit it because I swear that website has lost my questions. She asks, do either of you have any goals or plans for 2022? And after she wrote that, it was weird because this is like one of the first years I think I really didn't have any New Year's
So are we
resolutions.
talking about I do have New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, yours is to be
Visit
more
present. That's always
present, but to be more like upfront what you're not going to do and what you are going to do.
Yeah. I do have some official ones too, and one Jim and I made together is we're going to visit 12 state parks.
That's cool.
Yeah. Work on my posture. My posture is terrible. That's something I want to work on.
I have never thought your posture was...
Oh, really?
No.
I'm such a sloucher. What are they? I actually have them in my phone. I'm graduating in May, so I'm excited about that. I want to get that done with and just...
Congratulations.
Thank you. What else? There was another thing. I think be present. Just really work on being present in the moment.
I feel like I just gave up on doing resolutions because they never stick.
Well,
stick.
I picked ones that I want to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to graduate,
But it was
so
weird
that's
that-
happening.
Since she said that, I said, I realized that this is one of the first years I don't have anything. I just want to get through this year because it's been a slog so far.
Yeah.
That's
It's
my
only
answer.
February.
That's my answer. Songs?
Go for it.
Did you pick one?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I'm doing two. I'm liking this going on YouTube and looking at comments about the songs that I like, that I'm picking. My first song is I don't know if I've done this before. So many people messaged me last week when I posted the song Swing Life Away by Rise Against. And
Okay.
about how much that meant to them, how much that song meant to them.
Oh, really?
And I feel like when I edited it, I was kind of like dissing Rise Against because they're too heavy and they're too political, and they're kind of not really either. I feel like I kind of besmirched their name. Like, I love Rise Against. Some of their stuff is a little too heavy for me, but I love Rise Against. So my first song for this choice is another Rise Against song that I absolutely love, and it is a song called Tragedy Plus Time. And basically the song is about, it's like a harder song, but it's basically saying you're going through some crap right now, but it's going to be okay. So I went and looked at some of the, when I was running, this was one of my big running songs. So I went and looked at some of the YouTube comments, and I really like these. So I'm going to do 3 YouTube comments about this song. The first one I like is just a simple short one that I totally agree with, and says, it's incredibly beautiful and rare to find a song that tells you that things will be okay without ignoring or invalidating the pain you're going through right now. The second one says, this one's longer. The first time I heard this song, I was sitting against the wall outside my geometry class. I was in my sophomore year in high school. It was October 24th, 2014. About 5 minutes earlier, I was in the principal's office dropping off a late attendance sheet, and while I was in there, news of the MPHS shooting came down the line. They didn't mean for any students to know who the victims were yet, as our school was fairly closely connected to MPHS, I'm not sure where that is, through sports. But I remember hearing the last name of one, and it was a girl that I had been flirting with since the start of the term, being identified as a victim over the resource officer's radio. I remember putting in an earbud, turning on My Chemical Romance, cringe emo phase, and as I pocketed my phone, I accidentally clicked on this video, and I just dropped outside my geometry class. I couldn't move and I couldn't breathe. I remember hearing my geometry teacher get the news over his office phone and my biology teacher get the news down the hall. I remember hearing my biology teacher just start crying and my geometry teacher swearing up a storm. I remember my biology teacher stepping out of his room to compose himself. He ended up sitting next to me crying. Oof, that's rough. By the end of the period, my entire geometry class, that biology class, and one of the school security guards were also just sitting out there, the teachers in shock and the students there not knowing who had been killed, but wanting to be there for us that did know. This song will always be connected to that day for me, and I really hope it continues to get me through the hard times in life. Sorry for the long post if anybody actually reads this. I just needed to say my piece. I think that's really sweet.
What's sad is that there are so many school shootings in America that
And
this is just one of many.
No, and it just keeps getting worse
Yeah.
and worse and worse. And the third one I want to read is I don't have any big sob story about the song stopping me from killing myself or anything, but the song always makes me feel better when I'm down. It's just a great reminder that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and it really helps me to remember just how blessed and lucky I really am. It's like a don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened kind of thing. And that is the song Tragedy Plus Time by Rise Against, and I'll post that in the group. And I just really, really love that song. The lyrics are so good. I'm going to post a lyric video so that people can read the lyrics.
Oh, cool.
My second song is kind of a weird one. It's from 1977. It's Canadian, and I've never heard this song before, but it was on Letterkenny. Like, Letterkenny is like such a fascinating show. It's like such lowbrow, dumb humor, but
In a sophisticated way,
in a
though.
sophisticated way, and it's filthy, but it's also really sweet, I guess. It's really, really hard. Like I said on here that I introduced Sophie to the show, and she was watching, like, after the first couple episodes, she messaged me and she said, I literally can't tell if this is the dumbest or smartest show I've ever watched.
Right.
So it's weird. It's like dirty but wholesome, and it's stupid but smart. But they had this one episode where at the end, the characters all go to a bar, and it's playing this like disco-ish kind of slow song from the 70s. And the scene is just so beautifully shot. And when you see it, you're like, wow, because it just is like such a different vibe from the usual show. And it is the song It Always Happens This Way by the Canadian band Toulouse. Toulous.
Okay.
And some of the YouTube comments say, I just started watching Letterkenny, made it to season 4 as of the time I write this comment, and I gotta say, this is one of the most perfect endings to a sitcom episode I've ever seen. In fact, when I first watched this episode, I was super depressed. I wasn't even paying attention to the ending. I was playing around on my phone, and the song caught my attention, so I played the scene back. It picked my mood back up in a way that I can't explain. Hands down, it is one of the best scenes of the entire show for me. Somebody else writes, my absolute favorite scene in the show. It always makes me smile. I have actually come back to this episode once or twice when I was feeling down just to get to this scene. Somebody else said, I don't think the producers could imagine how much this scene would impact viewers. Truly one of the best shows that not many people have heard of. And somebody else writes, didn't like the show at first, seemed totally weird, and I was too busy at the time. Now it's one of my favorites, and this scene is definitely one of the best. Enjoy this life while you got it, y'all. So,
Where do you watch Letterkenny?
Hulu. It's a Canadian show.
I don't have Hulu.
It's such a good show. I mean, I just can't get out there enough what a good show it is. But it's Canadian, it's filthy, but it's a great show. But what I absolutely love is they talk filthy. There's never nudity or anything. There were scenes last year in a strip joint, and you just knew there wasn't going to be any nudity because it's not that kind of show.
Sure.
They'll talk super filthy, but it's like I said, it's strangely dirty but strangely wholesome at the same time. And I'm gonna post the video of this scene where you can hear the song.
Okay.
But the scene's in slow motion, and it's just like a really, really like beautiful scene. So those are my songs.
So I actually don't have a song recommendation, but I'm going to recommend a documentary that Jim and I just watched on Netflix called If I Leave Here Tomorrow. And it's a documentary about Lynyrd Skynyrd, and it is so good.
Really?
Yes. It's amazing just the whole backstory of how they became a band and how much work they put into it.
And then like the stuff with the plane crash.
Which I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
Like, hello, I've been listening to Lynyrd Skynyrd for decades, and I didn't know that half the band was killed in a plane crash, including the lead singer. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It was a very, very, very well done documentary.
Cool.
So I highly recommend it.
Cool.
A joke?
Pickle joke and the deets.
I'm going to actually read one out of the book from Eli. The Book of Eli.
The Book of Eli.
Laugh out loud jokes for kids because they're way better than the pickle jokes.
Oh, anything's better than
I
those
don't know
old
where I
pickle
left
jokes.
off. Why did the queen go to the dentist?
Why?
To get crowns on her teeth.
Oh boy. See, that's actually sort of funny.
It is funny. These are like total kid jokes, actually. How did the
they are.
lobster get to the ocean?
How?
By a helicopter.
Time for the deets.
So much better than the pickle jokes.
Time for the deets, and then we get to the side sessions.
Yep.
I hope people like the side sessions. Like I said, don't expect like a full episode for those. Those are like little McNuggets, little strange sessions nuggets.
Yep.
Today's is a topic that I find fascinating. I don't know if other people will, but we're gonna find out.
Hopefully I will.
Hopefully
since
you
I
will.
have to sit through
You'll
it.
probably fall asleep. Our deets, you can email us at thestrangesessions@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at Strange Session without the final S. Instagram, Krista does a smack dab fan-damn-tastic job.
I post like once a
she
week.
just shrugs. On Instagram at The Strange Sessions. You can send us postcards and snail mail. Thank you, Matthew Thornton, for sending us snail mail.
Yes.
P.O. Box 4, The Strange Sessions, P.O. Box 434, Manitowoc, Wisconsin, 54221-0434. And you can call our lonely little phone line, like Matthew did, at 920-443-9602. And I got some letters to go through when I get home, it looks like.
Yep.
I got some.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use your words,
You
Krista.
okay?
Yeah.
You having some kind of episode over there?
No. I'm going to like take the contents of one envelope and kind of spread them out a little. And I'm going to take a picture and say envelope 1. And then I'll do the same envelope
do that
2.
today?
Yeah, before you leave.
Okay.
And then the listeners who go to social media will at least see like the overall contents.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take each side of each page.
Yeah.
That would just
Nope,
be too
that sounds
much.
good. That sounds
You'll get
good.
like a little collage sort
Yes.
of each envelope.
Yeah.
Crazy. Good stuff.
For our next episode, you are going to want to get your conspiracy theory bingo cards out because next episode is going to be a pretty deep dive into some conspiracy theories.
I don't even know what it is. Have you told me?
No, but that's the one where I said that if I mysteriously die, quote unquote, suicided during any episode, it's going to be this one because, yeah, it's interesting stuff. And that will be our next Strange Sessions episode.
Alrighty then.
So I believe that is it. Ready to take a little break and then jump into our side sessions?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So I feel like there was something. I always feel like I tell people I'm going to mention that in this episode, and then I always forget to mention it.
We should take notes on that stuff.
Yeah, maybe by season 10 we'll have this down. So from Kristen and I down in the nicely warm, strange cellar, until next time,
Stay strange.